Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and today we are talking about Palantir's PLTR stock and Nano Dimension's NNDM stock. We will start by giving a quick news update on Nano Dimension's newest acquisition, and we will discuss how Palantir is diving into cryptocurrency blockchain technology. We will then go over why Cathie Wood of ARK Invest and another very large Palantir stockholder are selling their PLTR shares by the millions right before their Q3 earnings report. And then lastly, we will go over the most up-to-date Palantir stock news updates and PLTR stock price targets. But right now, go and smash the like button for more PLTR stock and NNDM stock news updates. Comment your stock price predictions down below, turn on all subscription notifications to stay informed, and now let's get right into today's stories. As you know, Nano Dimension is an industry leader when it comes to the 3D printing of high-performance electronic devices and printed circuit boards, also known as PCBs, and recently, Nano Dimension has closed an acquisition deal with Assemtech AG, which is an additive manufacturing company located in Switzerland. Assemtech is a leader in 3D printing software and equipment that can meet customer demands, especially in a high-mix, low-volume production environment. Assemtech has served thousands of customers, which have brought them in $17.2 million worth of revenues in 2020, with a 60% gross margin, which is very impressive, and they have a backlog of orders valued at $6.9 million, which is basically guaranteed future revenues, which is fantastic news. Nano Dimension will be acquiring Assemtech through a stock buyout, which can range anywhere from $15.1 million to $24.8 million, with an additional amount of $9.7 million, which will be paid out over the span of 14 months. However, this company purchase will barely dent Nano Dimension's cash reserves, which is worth well over $1 billion, and this company will actually pay for itself in only a few years based on the revenues that this company brings in annually. The CEO of Assemtech had to say this about the acquisition, and I quote, "It is an exciting combination of two leading technology leaders serving the PCB and wider electronic industry segments. The combination of Nano Dimension's strength in the Americas with Assemtech's strong presence in Europe will enhance both product lines." End quote. The CEO goes on to say how grateful they are to join forces with Nano Dimension and how their technologies are very complementary. Also, the CEO and chairman of Nano Dimension had to say this about the acquisition, and I quote, "Assemtech scientists and engineers and other team members, all of whom joined Nano Dimension upon closing of this transaction, are leading experts and industry veterans in machine building, software, mechanical automation, and robotics. They are going to continue to be led by their present management crew, supported by the COO of Nano Dimension. Assemtech's present products fit Nano Dimension's PCB and PCB assembly markets, as well as the OEM verticals which we serve. As such, we hope to leverage the distribution channels and go-to-market efforts of both organizations. In parallel, our mutual vision is to merge the technologies of our microelectronic 3D fabrication machines for high-performance electronic devices with Assemtech's fuller suite of in-fabrication process equipment assembly capabilities. The CEO of Nano Dimension goes on to say, "It is our intention to use our newly acquired deep learning-based artificial intelligence technologies from our DeepCube acquisition to become the robotic brains for Assemtech systems. We expect this will improve yield and throughput and drive a more seamless integration with Nano Dimension's AME systems." Assemtech's machines fit the larger picture of Nano Dimension's vision, aiming to establish Industry 4.0 solutions which entail building an artificial intelligence distributed digital manufacturing application rather than just machines as capital equipment. The quote goes on to say that now Nano Dimension is one step closer to achieving their goal of having a huge network of high-end devices that can print high-performance electronics on demand with high quality and competitive prices, especially for low-volume orders. If you want more information about this acquisition, I have the articles and sources linked below. Also, Nano Dimension is having a conference call to discuss this acquisition with their shareholders on November 8th at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 6 a.m. Pacific time. Now, if you can't call in from the number I have on on screen, you can always replay the call on Nano Dimension's website. Now let's talk about Palantir's PLTR stock and why Cathie Wood of ARK Invest has sold even more Palantir shares. Yesterday, I reported how Cathie Wood sold a load of Palantir stock which equated to 400,000 PLTR shares worth over $10 million, but she also sold 850,000 more shares of Palantir Technologies for around $22 million right before Palantir's earnings report, which is rather strange if Cathie Wood is expecting good news. Now, while selling 1.25 million Palantir shares does not look good, let's not get carried away, because this only represents a small portion of Cathie Wood and ARK Invest's PLTR holdings. To me, Cathie Wood is making the right move here because this lowers her risk of any losses, because sometimes before earnings a stock will rally, and then after earnings, even if the earnings are good, the stock will pull back. So this is just good risk management on Cathie Wood's part. However, this does not answer why other large holders and whales that hold Palantir are also becoming very bearish, but we'll talk more about that later. Right now, I want to focus on Palantir and their Elementis blockchain data partnership. If you didn't know, Elementis is a cryptocurrency blockchain data analytics firm that has many ties to Palantir. Elementis has also recently raised $12 million to help the company grow. Now, this company has large backing institutionally from crypto holders and prominent cryptocurrency players such as BlockFi, Gemini Frontier Fund, and Blockchain.com, just to name a few. Because of Elementis, Palantir is already innovating and infiltrating the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Just listen to what the CEO of Elementis had to say about their company, and I quote, "What we have accomplished and plan to do with the funds announced today is provide an institutional-grade platform that offers the search speed and scope of Google and the data insight of the Palantir platform. Trust me, this is no easy task, but we are doing it," end quote. Elementis has strong ties with Palantir in a multitude of ways beyond helping Palantir infiltrate the blockchain space. For instance, the president of Elementis worked at Palantir for a decade, and the chief strategy officer at Elementis was a senior advisor to the CEO of Palantir, who was Alex Karp. Also, Elementis is in Palantir's Foundry for Builders program, which just further entangled Palantir with Elementis and the goal of Palantir to infiltrate blockchain technology further. Now, I am personally surprised that many analysts are selling their PLTR stock to try to time the earnings report results, because long-term the company still looks great, which is why I would rather just hold through it. Palantir's TDV, also known as their total deal value for contracts, grew by 63% year over year, with backlogs of $3.4 billion, which is amazing revenue that has yet to even be tapped into. However, this has done little to change some analysts' minds, because most of them actually have a sell rating on the PLTR stock. Some analysts also disagree with the projection that Palantir's revenues will grow by 30% year over year until 2025, even though there are forecasts that say the growth rate could be well over 40 to 50%. However, these bearish analysts believe that Palantir's revenue will fall below 30% in the next few years, so we will have to wait and see. But even if these bearish analysts are correct, it does not change Palantir's long-term outlook. So even if Palantir fails to bring in over $386 million worth of revenues for their Q3 earnings report, or they don't post adjusted earnings of 4 cents per share, the PLTR stock is still a good long-term hold in my opinion. The problem is that we have analysts and investors alike that want quick results and fast returns. This is why last year, around the exact same time, we can have 6 analysts either saying to hold Palantir stock or to buy Palantir stock, and right now we only have 1 analyst that says to buy, 3 say to hold, and 3 say to sell. On top of that, TipRanks system ranks Palantir a 5 out of 10, which means that you should sell the stock with an average stock price of $24.33 as the projected 1-year price target, which represents around a 6 to 7% downside from its current price. So it's no wonder why Cathie Wood and other whales are selling this stock, and why the majority of people and analysts are bearish on the stock. Even though the stock itself is fine, the company is doing fine, they're bringing in revenues, they're increasing their earnings, and overall it's going to be fine long term. People are just so infatuated with the FUD that's going on in the market right now. It also doesn't help that Deutsche Bank has downgraded the stock from a buy rating to a hold rating with a price target of $25. investors. This could be due to the RSI indicator saying that the stock is approaching overbought territory, which is just bad timing right before Palantir's earnings report on November 9th before the market opens. Now, I do want to preface that even if Palantir beats their projected Wall Street predictions for their earnings report, that does not mean the stock will necessarily rally. Many stocks end up losing value even after an earnings beat, so be prepared for that, which could be a reason why large institutions and investors are taking profits right now. However, with that being said, if Palantir beats expectations, that is good news because it does increase the chances and odds of a positive outcome, because if they miss their earnings and their projections, the stock will almost certainly fall or at least stay flat. Now, overall, I am bullish on PLTR, but what do you think? Comment your predictions down below if Palantir will beat on earnings or lose out. Like the video right now, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next YT video.